Alright gang, welcome back to Adventure Survival. It is now October, and we've got the fertilizer spreader, our liquid fertilizer spreader, hooked up here. We're going to go ahead and do the second application of fertilizer on the fields that we drilled in the last episode. Now the spreader that we have it's pretty big actually for the size of the fields here, so it's probably going to be a one-pass kind of thing. Hopefully I don't have any major issues with it's saying that I don't own the land or whatever because it's too wide, right? What I'll probably end up having to do, and I already tried it, I didn't even try it, I already did it, one click of it. I shrunk down the spraying size one click because I do think this is going to be too wide. Or maybe it's going to be exactly perfect now that I'm seeing this. Let's see. Yeah, it needs to be the full width here. Okay, so off we go. Now this is not a very big hopper for liquid fertilizer. It's old. It's very small. We're probably going to have to make another trip, I would suspect, to fill this up again, because this field is not the longest field in the world, and we're already 20% through, and we've got that really long field over there that's going to take up a lot, right? So we'll see, but we've got this to do. We also have the field that we plowed up in the last episode. We're going to put in wheat or barley, whatever I decide to do. I'm not positive yet on that one. Back there today. And honestly, what I'd also like to do is maybe consider looking at putting down some chickens in the yard area somewhere. Maybe utilizing some of the leftover barley that we still have in our trailer to feed them. As we know, eggs produce a good amount of money. Now, we're not going to be able to buy a ton of chickens, and it won't be a big, massive operation, but it's a start, and that would give us some income, extra income, versus just selling the barley outright. So we might end up doing that. And also, I would like to potentially either, one, look for a header for our cornfield, which is right there, or maybe buy another small field somewhere. We don't have a ton of money, but these fields aren't outrageously expensive because they are such such small fields, right? They're not massive fields like we've been used to doing. So based off of that, there's a chance that we could find a small field that's potentially purchasable. But we'll see how we get along. Now, everyone has seemed, for the most part, to really enjoy this series so far, which I'm extremely happy about. I really wanted to do this series for a long time. Just never got to it. Never got around to it in FS22 for whatever reason. I'm going to shrink this down one. We're going to try it here. This is pretty... This is a lot skinnier than the last one. Yeah, okay, we're good. So we'll see how far we get here. But I did shrink it down one. As you can see, it's not hitting the edge boom there. My concern is if we would have turned it on the full length, it would say we don't own that land, and it would stop spraying. I don't know if that would happen or not. That's just my concern. I would suspect that it would. Anyway, I'm very happy that people have seemed so far to really enjoy it. It's kind of a hybrid of what we normally do on the channel, which, you know, I wanted to try something a little bit different, right? It's a bit of a challenge, but we're not calling it that, obviously, for multiple reasons that I explained already. But it's also kind of a bit of like a campaignish type of playthrough, right? To an extent. So it's a bit of a hybrid of what we have done in the past here on the channel, so. Change it up, spice it up a little bit. I always like to try to, bring different things to the channel every once in a while, just to try to make sure that we're not doing too much repetitiveness, if that makes sense. Yeah, we're going to go get more. I really like this dirt track here. It makes me kind of want to put this in more often. Actually, I don't even know if we can do it on most maps. It just depends. Like, certain maps have certain... the word I was going to use isn't really the right word. I was going to say render, but render is not the right word. Certain maps have certain features that others do not. So I know for a fact there are some maps that do not have this kind of dirt track here, but I really like it. It's like a sandy dirt track, basically, is what it is. Put the beacons back on because we're going out on the road here. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. things are good here. The nice thing about how we started out is we have, you know, when we bought the land, it came with some stuff like the fertilizer and herbicide pallets. We've got a couple of those, so at least here early on, we won't have to be spending some of the money that we made on that. But eventually we probably will, and eventually we might want to consider doing solid fertilizer. It's a little bit cheaper than liquid fertilizer is. But to do that, that means we obviously have to let's make sure we get fertilizer and not herbicide. To do that, we make sure that means we have to actually have the money to be able to buy the equipment, the machine that we need. Which currently I would say that we do have that money, but as I mentioned already, I've got some other plans and ideas that I want to do. I'll go back into first-person view. The trees kind of get in the way a little bit. I like first-person view. I know a lot of people don't like first-person view. I like it to an extent. When there's a lot of trees like this, I like it. It reminds me of what I've talked about many times. Tree tunnel type of things, right? Where the trees grow big and then they start growing across the road, but they're high enough up where they can stay, where they don't have to get cut down. Resembles basically a tunnel, but it's made out of trees. All right, we are back and underway here. There's just a very small amount left here. All right, we are done. We can fold this back up and go put this away. And we'll probably jump straight onto the drill, and we'll go ahead and put... I think I'm going to go... wheat. Maybe I should go barley, actually. I think barley makes more money, doesn't it? I always forget. Yeah, barley makes more money than wheat, for sure. Oh, maybe not. 1,101. 1,024. Okay, we'll go wheat. We'll go wheat. We just want to put something in that's going to hopefully make us the most money. Now, we also need to consider or start thinking about putting down some kind of a silo. That's something I've been having a hard time with, right? I'm trying to keep it, you know, to the times. I want a silo that's not new. It needs to be an older silo, or at least an older looking silo, if nothing else. I feel like there's something out there, but I feel like it's super expensive. I started looking in the mod hub, but I didn't really spend enough time searching through the silos. So I need to spend a little more time on that. Obviously, right now it's not necessarily a problem, but soon enough, the silo is going to be something we want to consider. We don't necessarily just, when we harvest something, we don't necessarily just want to be going and selling it immediately. That's obviously not going to get us the best bang for our buck, I guess is how I'll put it, right? Yeah, I love this thing, man. This thing it's fantastic. It's Rau. Probably say that name completely wrong. So yeah, this is going to be more of a relaxed setting, I guess, for the most part. We're definitely going to have some struggles, but we're in we're more of a relaxed setting. We don't have specific challenges or anything like that that we need to, whoops, and hook the wrong thing. You know, specific challenges that we have to accomplish, right? Besides some of the minor stuff that I said, right? Which is more specifically, you know, buying some land, getting some more equipment, and then getting to a certain dollar amount, but... Alright, so we don't have an actual full drill here. It's not completely full, but it has some stuff in it. We do have other ones that are sitting over there that were left over to us from the person who owned the land, which was very nice of them. Alright, wheat it is. And let's drop it, and we are underway. Now remember, this series is vintage survival, and we're going down the path of saying that even though there might have been some very, very basic GPS in the late 90s, we're going on the sense of every piece of equipment we have does not have GPS on it, which means I'm not allowed to use steering assist at all. I am allowed to use workers, and I understand that the workers are going to be utilizing some form of GPS to know where they are, but we're just going to use our imagination a bit there. I'm missing a whole portion here, aren't I? So we have to do this the old-fashioned way, which, for me, it's not that big of a deal, right? Until FS25, I'm on console, so until an FS25, I really never had the luxury of being able to utilize course play or any kind of steering assist GPS of any sort. I've always had to do it, the old-fashioned way. So this isn't too big of a change for me. I guess slightly now because I've been used to a little bit of utilizing steering assist since FS25 came out, but not really. And good, this drill is getting rid of those bushes. So this is the same thing kind of happened in FS22. And certain drills would remove those, these things right here, these like weed-like things. I plowed it up and they stay there when you plow it up, which doesn't make any sense. But when you drill it, with certain drills, it makes them disappear. I don't understand it either, but it works, so I'm not complaining. Now, I know I should be going up and down the middle first and then doing the headland last, but, I've always done it this way, which isn't the right way, but it's the easiest way. So that's why we're doing it this way. The game allows it. The game does. It's just a cosmetic thing if you don't do it this way, like it's how it looks before it germinates. So it doesn't really matter. Just sometimes this is the easier way to do it for turning purposes, right? Once you have everything drilled on the end, you have plenty of room to do a turnaround without having to run into stuff and back up and realign and everything. So it's just a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. All right, there's not much here. Let's do a little quick time lapse here. We'll get it done. Okay, that is all done. So let's put some chicken coop down of some sort. Now I don't know what I want to put down, honestly. I mean, I guess I could do the open air one. Oops. I mean, I guess I could put a fence down too, technically, right? I don't exactly know where I'd want to put it. Excuse me, where I want to put it either. It's the cheapest option, for sure. There are some other options that might be a little bit more aligned, I guess, with the way that the map looks, right? Like one of these would probably be a smarter one, one of these two. But they're very expensive. Obviously, we don't have that money right now. So perhaps it's just a situation where, whoops, we put down, we put one down for the time being, and then maybe we upgrade to it later on, right? I mean, I kind of want to put it somewhere where I'm not going to take up a bunch of space either, if that makes sense, right? Because we don't have a whole lot of room to work with right now. I mean, we've got some, but it's not a lot. Don't necessarily want to put them into that either. Like, I was seeing if I could meander my way over here on the edge somewhere, but I don't think I can. I mean, potentially up here. I don't know what it's overlapping. There's clearly something's on the ground there. I want to get rid of all these trees and all these bushes and everything out of here too, just to kind of clear this up a little more. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of like this shed here, but I'm not sure if that will end up staying here for the entirety of the series or not. There's a high chance it won't. There's a high chance a lot of things are going to change, honestly. A lot of things are going to change. Flattening failed. It's because the trees are there. I wonder. So I do have a chainsaw. I don't know if we talked about that or not, but I do have a chainsaw. It's close to the times. I'm not sure it's exactly from 1999 or older, but there's the only option we got, I guess. But we do come with a chainsaw here, so I mean, most steel chainsaws look the same for the most part. They haven't really changed all that much. So if I get rid of this right here, can I sneak that in behind here? Tuck that in behind here? Is it the smartest play? I don't know. Probably not. But, again, it might just be a temporary thing. But if I do that, though, I don't have a... Never mind. Ignore that. I don't have any kind of a stump grinder of any sort, either. That's going to be another problem I didn't even think about until just now, right? How are we going to, if we decide to get rid of any of these trees, how are we going to get rid of the stumps? We can't. The stump grinders that are out there are not from 1999. I can tell you that right now. They're not even anywhere near 1999. So unless something new comes out, there's no way. That is way too new. There's no way. I mean, the only... Unless there's something in the skid steer range, which I don't even know where they are now. I'm kind of... Here we go. No. Maybe there's something in Mod Hub that I haven't installed. There's a stump grinder, but that's too new. That's way too new. Okay, well, I guess that's not specifically going to work then. So let's look at the map then. I still want to put the chickens down. I just need to think about it a little bit more. So let's look at the map here. What, if anything, can we buy field-wise? Actually, what's in the mod? What's in the used market? Nothing for us. Okay, so that clears that out. I would think it had to be something like this. Yeah, there's 10,000 for that one. Ooh, that one's 28 because we get all of this other land with it. I don't know if you could get rid of these buildings or not. I bet you can't. Was it this? I think it was this. Yeah, it was this. I don't think you can get rid of these oh, maybe you can. It's highlighting it, so maybe you can. I can't get rid of these, though. I can get rid of the house for whatever reason, but it won't let me get rid of these, which is weird. I wonder if I could utilize these, though. I wonder if these doors open. Alright, well, that's something to think about later. We don't have enough money for it right now anyway, so let's just... let's ignore that for now, Z. Come on, move along, buddy. What else we got? What else we got? 17, that's too much. 12,150. We have enough for that. That's very close to us. Let's go take a look at that one. That would use up all the money we have, which means we wouldn't be able to do the chickens. But if it's a decent size, I'm actually okay with it. Because we can get more money back. I'm not worried about that. I mean, we're allowed to do contracts with the equipment that we own, right? We're not allowed to do any contracts if it's, you know, for something that we don't actually currently have or own. Is this it? Let me just pull off here to the side. I think this is it. I like it has a gate. That's kind of cool. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Okay, so it was grass. It's been harvested. It's not the largest field in the world by any means. It has really good access to the water, though. We could turn this into a greenhouse area eventually. You know what? Let's just look. I think the big greenhouses are going to be too wide for it. You know what? There's a chance it'd be tight, but there's a chance you could put it like that up against the edge here, against this fence, and run it all the way up. Although it says land's not owned by. Well, I know it's because I haven't bought it yet, but it might say land's not owned there. So realistically, it might have to be something like that, which I still think that's okay. I think that's enough room for you to get the tractor down with a water Bowser tank, whatever you want to call it. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's what we would eventually end up doing with this. This could be our greenhouse area. Obviously, right now, if we buy it, it's not going to be a greenhouse area. It's just going to be a piece of land that we're going to be able to harvest, right? Okay, so that one's definitely on the card. Let's look and see if there's anything else that's relatively close for a similar price or better. 13,000 for that one, so that's not going to work. 15, yeah, those are a little bit too big, I think. What about this one right next to us? 19. Oh, that's because of all those trees. There's a bunch of trees there. Okay. Oh, that's a big mess one. Nope, that one's not going to be it. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll buy it. I mean, why not? Why not? We still have a little bit of money. We don't have any loans or anything, so we're only incurring a small fee every month. Very, very small. And we can do contracts. Is there anything out there contract-wise right now? There's cultivating, deadwood, fertilizing, which if we were going to do those, we'd really want solid fertilizer. We really don't want to use liquid fertilizer on that. There's some spraying contracts we could do right now, actually. And those are big money. That might be worth it. If we buy this land, though, we have to drill it today. We have to drill it today. Because we're not going to be able to drill it again if we don't. Unless we just do the greenhouses, unless we just make it greenhouses right off the bat. If we do the spraying contracts, excuse me, that's going to get us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost $10,000. I mean, that one field is huge, though. They're both actually pretty big fields, if I'm honest with you. And our hopper for the spraying is very, very small. We'd have to fill that up a lot. Okay. All right. I've made my decision. We're not doing that. We're going to buy this field. We're going to put, well, we put wheat in the other one. I guess we'll put barley in this one. And, yeah. We'll put barley in it. And then, maybe once we have it harvested maybe we'll have a little bit more money. Maybe a little bit more solidified as far as our funds go. And maybe then we can turn it into a greenhouse area. See if I can back up here. Oh, look who it is. Byron the Terrible. There he is. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. You don't be honking the horn at me. You're the one that's trying to pass everyone. I gave you plenty of room to reset. There you go, buddy. Jeez. Let's go get the plow. We're going to plow that thing up, and we're going to get prepped and ready to go and put the barley in there. All right, we are here. I hope I can get this through the gate now that I'm seeing this. I don't know how I'm going to get the drill over here. I guess I'll just have to drive across the neighbor's fields here. Perhaps I can get rid of this fence. I like it, but I don't really think I'm going to be able to get through here very often. Okay, well, we made it through with the plow, so that's step one, I guess. Can I get rid of it? Probably not. I cannot. I cannot get rid of it. Okay, well, that means we're going to be driving across the neighbors' yards here, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad or a big problem or a big deal. These are all grass fields. It really shouldn't, it shouldn't harm anything. So I'm going to say it's going to be fine. Can I please close the door? Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, eventually we'll probably own all of this anyway, right? So we can build a track, across all of these fields or whatever we're doing with them. Maybe we turn it into one big field. Who knows, right? It just really depends on the equipment we have at that time and what we can get, I guess. Alright, we're underway plowing. Not the biggest field in the world, but this will produce us a good amount of money. I mean, this is about the same size as some of the other fields, I would say, that we have. It's a very similar size, at least, if nothing else. All right, we're gonna go in the creek here for a minute. Back it up, Z, back it up. Alright, there we go. Let's just try to keep it close here. There's going to be that little tree that pops out here in a second. I'm going to have to move back to the left. That's fine. Just get around it, if at all possible. Get as close as we can so we make sure we're getting this whole thing plowed up. I really don't want to lose anything, if at all possible. We need to get rid of all those trees there. We could expand this slightly if we get rid of those trees. All right, let's get it done, gang. We're going to get this plowed up, and we're going to get it drilled up. We're going to get it all done. All right, we are pretty much done here, gang. Just one more little turnaround and touch that area up, and we're done. Pretty difficult to maneuver in this field for sure. So, yeah, I think eventually this is definitely going to be our greenhouse area. That, or we try to combine it with the field next to us. That might be, or this field right here to the left of us, I guess. That's probably one of the two options we really have for this field. Now, the nice thing is I completely forgot there's a fence down here by our land, but there is a pretty big open area on these two fields here. So we do have enough room to get the drill through, which is pretty important. All right, go ahead there. Go ahead there, Alfred. I'm sorry. That was me. Ooh, we got leaves coming in through the tractor. Oh boy. Well, I just killed that person. That's all right. They'll be okay. Okay, so that's all done. We only have $743. I'm gonna look at the list there of contracts again. See if anything new's popped out. I doubt it. As much as I wanted to do those spraying contracts, I don't think it makes sense with the size of our sprayer for the size of the fields that we would be doing that on. They're way too large. it would take us an eternity to do. There's cultivating contracts. We do not have a cultivator. Deadwood. Fertilizing. We don't have that yet. We don't have a mower. There are some plowing contracts we could do. $853 is not a ton of money, but it's a little bit, right? Stone picking, wood transport. Let's do this $853 plowing one. That one I have no problem doing, but a little bit too big for what we need to do at the time for the time being. So let's accept the contract here. 73. That's right next to ours. It shouldn't take long for that one, and that'll get us back above $1,000, which puts us in a little bit more of a comfortable spot. I think we have plenty of money for any kind of fees that we would incur overnight, but that definitely puts us in a better spot. I'm going to put the map on here. Just imagine I'm pulling out a paper map inside the Volvo here, figuring out where I'm going. Although I probably should know where I'm going, because it's right next to the field that we already own. Alright, so it's to the right of the field that we own. Okay. Alright, we'll be good. So this is our field right here. So it's this field here, which already looks like it's been... No, I guess it hasn't. I was going to say it already looks like it's been plowed up, but I guess it hasn't. Alright, we're underway. Really, really like this plow. I've mentioned that, I think, already a number of times, but I do. Eventually, though, we are going to have to see if we can find something bigger. It's a great plow for most of the fields, but once we start getting further along here in the series, there's going to come a time where this is going to be too small. We can hold on to it, and we probably will, for some of the smaller fields, right? Makes more sense there. But when we start branching out into bigger fields, which at some point, that's really the goal, right? We got to branch out into bigger fields so we can make more money. We're going to need something different, and that's going to be the problem, is finding a plow that can be utilized for the big fields, you know, from the late 90s or whatever it may be. As long as it's from the 90s. I probably could speed up the time. We've only got it on 2x speed, but I mean, the 2x speed is perfectly fine with me. We're not, like I said, we're not. It's not a challenge, right? So we can just take our time. It's not a big deal. Get everything done early morning that way. And I imagine if I was a farmer in real life, I'd want everything done early in the morning too, right? Wake up super early. Oh, I just drove right across our corn. Well, shit. Whoops. I looked away at I looked away at the TV for a second. I looked at the OBS and just drove right into the corn. Shit. Well, mistakes happen. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's too late now. In the distance there's like it's like a pond or something. It's really cool looking over there. I don't know if, I mean, you can kind of see it, I guess, from this angle. I don't know if it's, maybe it's a creek. Maybe that's where that little creek that's by us, maybe it dumps out into like a river. Maybe it's a river. I think it's it's a lake and a river? A lake and the creek next to it? Looking at the map in the left-hand corner. I don't know. Almost done here. 82%. We don't have to do the whole thing in a contract, which is kind of nice, right? They give you a little bit of a buffer in case there's an issue. But most of this we're probably going to have to do. Missed a couple of little strips here that kind of went off the track here a little bit. But I think once we get this strip here that we're doing done and we maybe start working on that one, we're going to be done. I don't think we're going to have to do much more than that. No, maybe I'm wrong. We went down this whole entire strip and we didn't even gain 1%. Nope, there we go. Now we did. Maybe you are going to do the whole thing. I was expected to not have to do the whole thing. Normally you don't. Or maybe at the plowing you do. I don't do very many plowing contracts, if I'm honest with you. Most of the contracts I do are fertilizing or harvesting. Sometimes drilling. There we go. All done. Okay, and we're going to leave the episode at that point, gang. We're going to go ahead and collect this money after a quick autosave. Perfect. Puts us up to 1,596. We got a new field today. We drilled 2 fields. Got both the fields that we drilled in the last episode. The second application of fertilizer was accomplished. We killed some corn on accident. It's relatively, overall, a pretty good day, though. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. All that stuff helps me an absolute ton. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'll see you in the next episode.